Hello and welcome back to the second part of our 7th episode. We are your hosts and storytellers here from Wanderlustdnd. Following on from last week's episode, due to some scheduling conflicts, the party decided to split up. And tonight, we journey with Gizmo, Al, and Revenant as they explore the city of Minera. If you want to catch up with what Fenris and Cache got up to last week, you'll find a link to their episode in the description below. As a reminder, these two stories are happening at the same time in-game, just in different parts of the city. So, without further ado, last time, our brave heroes found themselves in darkness after the lights went out in the Wayward Bliss. As eyes and vision settled, Fenris was the first to see Cache's true form. A face of void, darkness, a being of shadow. Before you had time to process this, the sickly darkness in the corners of the room seemed to take shape and come alive into nightmarish creatures. Outside, Revenant was returning from his excursion alone to find a strange man standing outside the Wayward Bliss, seemingly to have no face. You all battled these shadows together, managed to drive them back into the darkness. Gathering yourselves, you hurried back to Cache's house, where she revealed herself to be what is called a voidling, and how she came to be one in the first place. After a much-needed heart-to-heart, you all found a place of rest, while Gizmo started his work on the small nightingales at Revenant's request. And so, we pick up this morning with Revenant and Gizmo. I believe you had already headed out to the market square to gather some supplies, while Al, you snuck out of the house for some breakfast. So, we will pick up in this moment. Al, you are currently heading down from Cache's house towards where you kind of remember the library to be. You kind of get, the streets are starting to fill up at this point. There's lots of people around, and you get a little bit lost. There's a little bit turned around, and you actually kind of end up closer to the square. You kind of turn back up where you remember the house being, and you actually come back to the library. So you are standing outside the library currently. It is a massive building. It looks kind of long shaped and very, very tall with the domed roof. You are welcome to go inside if you wish.
Yeah, I'll just kind of stand there, take it all in for a moment.
Okay.
Oh, looks like this is gonna more than likely have answers to the questions I look for. And I'll walk in.
Perfect. Okay. Around the same time, Gizmo and Revenant would be walking around the square. And Gizmo, I would say, at this point, as you're kind of gathering yourselves, thinking, you've asked, I believe, the last time where an apothecary was, and you found out there was one midtown. And as you're kind of... Yes, House of Elixir. And you were kind of trying to figure out the tram system again and how to possibly get there. You actually see Al walk straight into a very large building, which you do remember Cache pointing out to you being the library. And not but maybe 5 or 6 seconds later, you see little Humphrey slowly following Al into the
library. He's gone into the library.
He's kind of like, yeah, you kind of watch him go into the library.
I'll kind of like turn around and I'll be like, Revenant, there. Where's he gone? Is he there?
Revenant? I'd say he would be, yeah,
okay.
At this point.
Yeah. I was just gone into the library there. Should we check inside there? See what he's up to. Not in any rush.
I'd say for the purposes of this, he'll say yes. We'll have him just kind of follow you, basically, at this point. So yes.
Okay. You're nodding silently at me, and then look like...
Yeah, I'd say he wouldn't even speak. He would just nod.
Okay, yeah, we'll head up after in towards the library.
Perfect. You do so. You actually catch up pretty quickly to Al. As Al, you step into this... I have to change something for a second. Hold on. There we go. So Al, you step into this massive, like, foyer of the library, and you notice that there seems to kind of be multiple doorways leading off deeper into the library, but the main entrance is just these two almost 20-foot high doors that are currently open, and you can just see inside to this massive looking wealth of knowledge. As you kind of come into this foyer space and you're looking up about 50 feet up, you see that the walls and ceiling are actually painted in these interesting murals, depictions of different ages of this realm of Enethær. Great battles during the Age of the Giants. You see depictions of dragons from the Age of Skyfire. You also see the gods battling wild nature spirits. It's a little breathtaking, really. You kind of stop and just stare upward to see all these gorgeous historical points in time. Is there anything you do?
Is there a front desk of any kind?
Kind of glancing about, you don't quite see a front desk. But it is at that point where you do feel a little bump behind you as Humphrey kind of comes up next to you.
Oh, very good. There you are. Ah, well, looks like we'd have to try and find someone to talk to.
Very good. I'd say Gizmo, at this point, you do arrive.
Al!
Is staring up.
Al! Hey, Al!
Ow!
They know my name already. But it's my first time here. How do they know my name? I turn around. Ah, Gizmo.
And Revenant. He's just lurking.
And Revenant, yes.
Actually, I'd say
in the
he
shadows as usual.
vanishes in the shadows.
Yeah. He's gone. I fancy seeing you here.
Yes, well, I mean, this is a place of learning, and I do love to learn, so. But why, might I ask, are you two here? I thought you would plan to go shopping, no?
Aye. We've been successful so far. We were wandering down to the nearby apothecary, the House of Elixir. But we saw you wandering in here. We just said we'd check in.
I mean, that's very good of you, but I'm kind of here doing a bit of, I suppose, research. I don't know. I don't really know. I'd need to see if I'm even allowed to view the volumes in this place. Honestly, I'm kind of looking for an attendant, and there doesn't seem to be anyone around.
I look around. Do I see any attendant-looking people?
You know, interestingly enough, as you two are having this conversation, Gizmo, as you are facing towards Al, you do see a individual seem to kind of make their way towards you both. And there are people coming in and out of the library. Like, this isn't, you're not just all standing on your own. Like, people are coming and going. They're seeming to find their nooks and crannies within the library. But there is a half-elven man dressed in robes quite simple. Not a lot of dressy fabrics or any kind of color. It's just very, he appears to be someone who is just very dedicated to his work. And as he does approach, you see it's a rich shade of like purple, deep like eggplant purple, and beautifully made once he gets closer. He has a mop of auburn hair shaved and an undercut on both sides. And he does kind of approach you both, and first time in the Lexicon, I see. Faces of confusion. He looks at you, Gizmo, kind of smiles, and goes to you, Al.
Yes, very, very perceptive of you. I also just simply in awe at the magnificent artwork all over the place. It's really quite a sight to behold.
Yes, well, we take as good a care of it as we can. We are the keepers of the Lexicon. I'd be happy to show you both, you three, kind of looks at Revenant, you three around, if you wish. We have a small little tour, get you acquainted with the place before you start using the volumes.
That sounds delightful.
I hope you don't mind us coming with you. I think it'd be good for me to get a lay of the land as well.
Not at all. I mean, knowledge is useful to all.
Very good. Well, before we get started, my name is Lexicon. I am a scholar
Lexicon.
here. Lexicon.
Lexicon.
I specialize.
Lexicon? At the
Are
Lexicon.
you just repeating his name?
Sorry, it's a very nice name.
Thank you. Kind of gives you a little smile, Al. I specialize in historical preservation of the texts. But if you will follow me, we'll get this tour started.
Please lead on, Lexicon. And by the way, my name is Al.
Very good, Al. And your Clockforge friend? Oh, you have two, actually.
Oh well, this little guy is called Humphrey. He's
Go by Gizmo.
Yes.
Gizmo, Humphrey. And I feel like Revenant would just silently stare behind, stand behind you, girl. And he just kind of, you notice there's a little bit of confusion and a little bit of timidness coming from Lexicon as he looks at Revenant. It's more to do with the mask. And both of you are very much smart enough to remember there was a wanted poster for someone who has a mask just like his. So there's a little bit of his brain kind of working of, is that? No, it can't be. Kind of motion about, But he does turn and begin to lead you out of the Fiore through the large, like I said, like 20-foot tall wooden doors leading into the massive, expansive library. And you can see it there. It opens up into a very large space. There are 3 stories or so, and domed ceiling above, rich mahogany wood lining the shelves and bookcases. In the center of this magnificent place is about a 15 to 16 foot tall feminine statue, hands outstretched before her. You can see an ancient book in one hand and a what are they called? The gyrospheres, I think they're called.
Gyroscope?
Yeah. Sorry, scope. That's what I was trying to find the word for. In the other. And you can see as you get closer, actually, there are 3 faces on this individual, crafted into the stonework to make it look like masks in front of each face. You can see a youthful face of joy, a stern face of adulthood, and a withered crone on this being's face.
The 3-faced lady, I take it.
It is indeed, yes. We like to dedicate all of our research and knowledge to the goddess Nila. She guides our hand in all of our work, whether it be magic, science, or technology.
Patron of research and the intellectual arts.
Yes, but even more so to her, she's the Lady of Mystery and finding out those mysteries. She's about taking risks and rewarding, how do we say it? Hypotheses, if that makes sense.
Well, a lot of the best things worth knowing are on the edge of sanity.
Very good, yes. Now, come this way, and he'll kind of lead you around the statue at this point, kind of bringing you into this really center point of this library. It goes on to say, there are over 250,000 texts in the lexicon at this time, all under the protection of the Archivist of Minera. Originally built in 321 of the 4th Age, during the reign of the Avasha Triarchy. I just got a message. Revenant is back. All right, Revenant, you can pop in with everybody. We had you join into the library. You were currently on a tour with Gizmo and Al going into the library.
Awesome.
Perfect. So, the individual giving you the tour continues on. That the library was built during the where was my thought process during the reign of the Avasha Triarchy. It was constructed first as a vault to protect the most ancient of knowledge and records. Lady Tala Felret was the brilliant mind behind its design. It kind of lead you towards a large canvas on one of the walls that actually shows the original blueprint of the lexicon. Now, it was slightly different than it is now. It's much smaller. It once was much smaller. It is much larger now. And Lexicon goes on to say, during the war, the lexicon was sadly bombed, destroying a large portion of the south side of this building. However, we had already secured most of the text underground in the original vault, making it so we didn't lose too much. Obviously, we lost a bit, but we were able to save as much as we could. And once the war was over, we sought to rebuild. And with the help of the True Foundation Guild and the financial support of House Borhart, the lexicon was reforged, reinforced, and now it's in its magnificence today. As you are going along and listening to all this, this man has rehearsed this speech. He obviously talks about this library a lot. And he takes you through the kind of winding bookshelves, and further in, you actually head to the right side. You can see that the center of the library is kind of where the statue of Mila is. And then it opens out into this long, long hallway almost, but it's huge, if that makes sense. And he kind of brings you off to the right side first. And you can see there's an odd kind of contraption in the center of this hallway. And it's seemingly to be an hourglass, very, very large. And it's turning and moving on its own. And he kind of brings you over to it, and he goes, this is a unique piece, actually. Crafted by a student at the Institute during his study. He made it perfectly balanced so that the sand inside would actually keep it moving on its own accord, once it representing the flow of time. Continues forward. Is there anything anybody's doing, or are you continuing with the tour?
At the moment, I'm
walking around
listening.
Mesmerized, yeah.
Yeah, just listening in.
Lovely. So you start to see then too, the best way I'm sorry I'm bringing it into the real world, but has anybody been to the Trinity College library?
The old one.
The old one, yeah. So it's kind of similar to that, where it's got the center part that's open, and then it's just got all the floors leading up, and there's like little nooks and crannies of just books and just little sections. You can see there's study rooms, there's countertops, tables, comfy chairs. It's a very welcoming environment to come and study and come and research. You can also see people dressed very much like Lexicon, who is there, and they're moving about, helping people as they go. He does bring you over to another strange kind of moving on its own contraption. And this is where you actually recognize, I'd say, Al, you would probably have seen this before many, many times. I have it written down as a gyrosphere. But you're calling it a scope?
No, you mean like the thing that you can like spin on a string?
No. Actually, do I have a photo of it? I you know what it is? It's our logo.
What?
Let me pull it up here really quick. Where is our...
Oh, yeah.
It is... this thing.
Oh.
But without the D20 in the center.
I see.
So it is one of those which depicts the cosmic wheel. And it shows in the very, very center, you've got the material plane. You also have then 4 almost kind of clear, like glass spheres that go on each side. And then from there, you can actually start to see all the other rings form different realms in and around how people view the cosmic wheel. So you can see some of the lenses show fire, earth, water, and air. You can also see twisted planes of brimstone, monsters, and magic. So it's basically just showing the different realms that are known so far. But continues with the smile, brings you up to this gyrosphere that is slowly moving. You can actually see, as you look closer at the material plane in the very, very center, you can actually see the 4 moons as well, moving, seeming to, circle the planet.
The motion, is that, does that represent anything? Is it for aesthetic effect?
I believe the designer of this, which this particular piece was actually formed when the library was first built. So it is one of the original pieces that we were able to save during the bombing. And I believe it never stopped moving, now that I think about it. So I do believe it is probably connected to the magnetic fields of the planet. At least that's what I think. Or perhaps it's connected to the aura veins, who knows?
Amazing craftsmanship to be continuing to work after so many years.
Can't even get it to stop either, which is fascinating. But as we are coming close to the end of this tour, to let you know, the ground floor is readily available to the general public. Historical records, accounts of distant travel, family records, all of those things are available. We also have a fiction and non-fiction section because we collect everything here. The first and second floor, however, they are dedicated to the Institute of Vestarth. They're students, they're professors, but we also sometimes open it up to visiting scholars. They are welcome to speak to one of us, and we will make sure that they have the correct amount of knowledge to not abuse what they will have access to. But that is how we work here. So, are you looking for anything in particular that I can help you find?
Revenant would like to kind of take a step forward, look between Al, Gizmo, and the tour guide, and do kind of like an amalgamation of their accents nearly to make himself sound more scholarly.
Okay.
And he'd be like, yes, actually, I was wondering if you would have a copy of like a citywide census of the population and names and occupations, maybe in the historical records.
I do believe we have something along those lines, though it won't have all the names, most likely, but I can definitely show you where that is located.
Would it contain military personnel?
Yes, I would say so.
And I know this may sound like a strange request. Would you have any records of the rumored nightingales?
You kind of see him think for a moment, and again, this is funny. Because Gizmo and Al, you see his face once more kind of get a little pursed, because he's still not quite sure why you have the mask, very similar to the nightingales. I will have to ask.
I ask because I am actually doing a study on a correlation between retired military personnel and crime syndicates. And any record you have would be greatly beneficial to my study.
I need a deception check. This is very, very well worded.
Well, a 17 do.
Okay, alright. Kind of interesting. I look forward to reading it if you ever publish it. Give me a moment. I will have to check and see if we have anything of that regard. For the rest of you, while I have you here, is there any direction I can point you to?
I mean, I was looking for maybe something along the lines of academic research on the subject of time.
Ah, really? Time?
Historical or current.
Kind of... You can see him kind of checking to make sure no one's too close to all of you, and kind of leans a little bit closer to you, Al. I should probably warn you that the idea of time magic studying or research is strictly restricted in Minera due to its unstable nature and unpredictability. But perhaps
that's
there
something
is...
I neglected to find out before coming here.
Just be careful who you ask. But I don't want to get in the way of anybody's particular interests. So what I will say is, if I can check and make sure that you aren't going to abuse the information that is readily available up on the first floor, perhaps I can show you the section of something similar. But most of the texts when dealing with time are very heavily guarded.
This guy's not setting me up for a trap or something, is he?
Go ahead and make an insight check. Love the music change. Ba, ba, ba.
Hence my fear. Insight. Okay. 15.
15. You don't get the immediate sense that this individual is trying to set you up or set you up for a trap. You do get the sense that he is flirting with you a little bit. There's a sense of you intrigue him. So he is willing to potentially allow you access to some of the not even restricted books. These are more for those who are proved that they understand the arcane and aren't gonna go make a pact up there, you know. That's kind of what they make sure that the kind of the individuals who don't have a lot of knowledge when it comes to the arcane don't really have access to those books. So that's kind of what you're getting from him at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem to be ungenuine.
Well, I mean, obviously we've only just met. Well, Lexicon, you seem like such a helpful and interested individual. I really, really would appreciate it if you would show me.
Interesting. Well,
something similar, even.
Let me ask, if I am to allow you access to the floors above, I should understand a bit more of your arcane knowledge. How long have you been a practitioner?
Oh, that's quite a tough question, really. I feel like I've been practicing for it feels like centuries, millennia maybe, I'm not sure. But realistically, I suppose about a dozen or so, 24 years.
Very good. And what is your interest in gaining more knowledge of time?
Oh, suppose the way time moves. In fact, funny, we walked past the sculpture earlier, the cosmic wheel, shifting differently in different planes and states of existence. It just seems like such potential wasted if we were to understand it better.
Very interesting.
Can I insight check, Al?
What are you trying to glean?
I think he's hiding something, but I want to know if he is. Like, just the way he said, like, oh, it feels like millennia nearly that I've been studying this. I'm kind of like, hold on.
Okay.
Something else is going on here. I want to know what exactly you're hinting at.
Okay, so an insight check isn't going to reveal if he is like hiding something. But you're welcome to roll an insight check or even a vibe check, really, and you can kind of see if you can read his body language.
Yeah. Is a 12 plus 9, so that's a 17.
17. Okay. So, Al, as you are discussing your ideas and thoughts on time, what do you think Al's body language would kind of be showing at this time?
I mean, he probably would have gone from being quite, like, open and trying to be alluring to this guy, picking up on the flirting, try and get, access to books. It would have gone from that to, like, maybe kind of a bit more stiff, like kind of maybe crossed his arms, kind of like, a bit more serious in his tone.
Okay. So there's a bit more
Less jovial.
directness in. Perfect. So that's, I'd say, the biggest thing you pick up on Revenant is he's not his jovial self. We seem to have hit the point of trueness in Al.
Mm-hmm.
When I was asked why.
When you were asked why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I will say, you do know that Al is an elf. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so. Yeah, cool. I'll just leave that there. So, Lexicon then kind of smiles and nods at you and kind of is enjoying the way you are discussing things similar to kind of how he would see things. And he goes, very good. So my next question is, do you understand the limits of your own magic?
Limits of my own magic. Well, I've exhausted myself with magic. I suppose if that would be what you mean. I definitely would be able to know something that I'm incapable of doing.
Good. You understand your limits, but you also know how to exercise beyond them.
As much as is possible. And physically, that's not very much for me. I won't lie.
Very good. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I do believe that you seem to be genuine and are looking for possibly answers you have found across your travels. You seem well-traveled, from what I can tell.
I've seen a lot. Yep. That would definitely be an accurate observation. You're very astute.
It's my job. I believe the first floor would be a good access to you. For now, at least, on a temporary basis. If you want to follow me, I can get you set up with a scribe. Anyone who does go up onto the first floor is gifted a scribe to follow them, and also keep an eye on, just so you're aware. But if you'd like to follow me, and he kind of looks to you, Gizmo. Forgot to ask you as well. Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
Well, as my custodians, I could follow along if you need, or I could potentially research other subjects. Looking towards between Revenant and Al.
You are in a place of knowledge, Gizmo. And we are very aware and welcoming to sentient clock forges. Do not feel like you have to hide behind them.
Oh, well then, in that case, have you got anything on advanced mechanisms, and specifically anything to do with infusing magic into smaller compartmental pieces that don't take up entire... sorry, I'm rambling a little bit. Just anything that's kind of got to do with the many workings of Minera. I've been fascinated to see.
I do believe I have the perfect section for you. Very good. Follow me and I'll get you all sorted. So he kind of begins to lead you off. So Gizmo, he is going to bring you to one of the sections actually down on the ground floor, which appears to be just a wealth of recounts, some like Magictek for Dummies kind of books, like books basically made and written by inventors that are working with the infusion of arcane magic. It would be readily available to people here in Minera, because if anybody wants to join the art guild or anything like that, this is kind of a place to start doing their research. So he kind of brings you to this section, and you can kind of see some of the volumes talking about, the infusions of magic and technology, and kind of goes, I'll leave you here. There is scribes, and he'll kind of point across the way. If you need any help, parchment or books or anything else for your own writing, just ask away. I will be helping these two, and I'll come back and check on you in a little while.
You're very kind. Oh.
Very good.
Oh.
There's a few people here as well, and they kind of look at you and they kind of give you a smile and they keep going. There's a few that just don't even look at you. They're so engrossed in what they're doing. So yeah, it's
They're my favorite people.
Yeah. So then brings you up to both of you, Revenant and Al, up to the counter, which Al, you now see.
Sorry, before we...
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, just before we leave Gizmo, I want to turn to him and just like quietly say to him, see if you can find information on the peacekeepers, maybe weaknesses. It may come in handy if we end up in trouble.
Oh, all right. Why do you think we're going to end up in trouble with them?
He's
Just a
already
precaution. I like to plan ahead.
That's always a good thing. Sure, I'll keep an ear out next to the pulleys book.
Or just follow a tour guide then.
Okay. All right. So, brings you back towards the front where the big doors were, and now you actually see that kind of front desk you were looking for was actually inside the big doors. The foyer is almost supposed to encapsulate an awe as you're looking at all the paintings, and then you're going into the library. So, he brings you there. You see another archivist there. They kind of do a little bit of talking, a little bit of paperwork, and they hand you over kind of a badge that you can wear around your neck, Al. That just basically grants you access to the first floor. Mm-hmm. You are given a scribe to accompany you. Their name is Mo. They are a kind of a younger looking human boy who just kind of pushes up his glasses and is just ready to follow you around. He's got plenty of parchment and blank things for you to use if you were going to write anything out. You would know that books are not allowed to leave the lexicon. So that's why they give you plenty of ways to transcribe things if you wish. And so he kind of looks to you, and Mo will bring you upstairs and show you to the section that I have mentioned. And you can begin your research.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Rex. I hope I'll be seeing you again.
Oh, you will. I'll come up and check on you. Don't worry. Very good.
Come on, Mo. Let's go. Lots of work to do.
Mo just follows you, very, very excited to do his job and to continue on, and also have access to the first level because he gets to kind of go up there too. And they both head upstairs to the first floor. Revenant, just remind me too. You were looking for historical family records of Minera.
More of a city census of the current population and their occupations. More so military than anything else.
So freaking glad I have that.
You do?
Okay. Alright, so Rex does bring you over to kind of, just like a historical family section, but also would have like census and details about the military and things like that. And basically just has that kind of records of the city. So let's see here. And you're looking for particularly military?
Yes.
Okay. So you do find a recent enough census is that there are 72,051 inhabitants of Minera.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go into the breakdown of percentages of what all the races are, but I have that. So I'll just put it into the chat because I think it's interesting. But
no, we need to know exactly the percentage of halflings in the city.
No, it's literally, I literally have that.
Okay, you actually do full on have it broken down.
I literally have them broken down. Because I wanted to kind of know how this city works. Anyway, let's see here. Let me open up my military tab. Is there a particular name you are looking for?
Yes, Lieutenant Arrow.
Lieutenant Arrow. All right. Where is my military? There it is. Okay. So one interesting point of note that you would probably have learned in all of this is that sorry about that. The Avasha Republic Alliance, the current military, was actually used to be 3 different sources of fighting forces, and they were actually called Avasha Freedom Forces during the war. They were broken down into the Celestial Armada, which you recognize as the air fleet. Most likely that is the one that Cachet is a part of, since she's an air colonel. The Les Sols Libertaires, which is the rebel infantry, which were the ground troops, or the freedom fighters, they called them. And then I'm butchering all these French names. I'm so sorry. I'm doing the best I can. Les Artes Marina, I think it is, which is the ocean, the navy, basically. So there were 3 different sections during the war. And then after the war, and this is what you find interesting because you are reading kind of through all of these records, 2 of those branches were just like gone. It's not like they vanished, but they weren't needed anymore. The rebel infantry and the navy were kind of disbanded, it seems. A lot of the people who were in the navy, who were in the ships basically at sea, who would be fighting both the empire and the dynasty, seemed to just kind of vanish and went more into the merchant side of travel. And a lot of them stayed on ships, a lot of them just didn't have jobs anymore, a lot of them just kind of dispersed into the regular population. And same with the rebel infantry, but you do notice a very large portion of the rebel infantry became constables. The Celestial Armada is very much, pretty much in charge. They are currently the Avasha Republic Alliance. And meaning that Minera and the Avasha Isles really run on mainly their air fleet. So that's one interesting note. I don't know if it's interesting, but that's just... Anyway.
Yep.
So, looking for Lieutenant Arrow, you do find... Wrong tab. 1 second. There's so many tabs. Okay. Perfect. So, you find record on Lieutenant Arrow. Is currently stationed, from this record at least, currently stationed in the military academy in the city. What exactly are you looking for about them?
Whatever information's in there.
Okay.
Age, race, height.
Perfect. You do find record of that they were born in Minera, in the city of Minera. They are a male fire genasi. Height about 5'7". And I'd say, as you're looking for more information and more details about certain things, you do notice that a lot of his records are redacted.
Mm-hmm.
And as you were going through these, you actually notice that lieutenants and air colonels tend to be... A lot of things are redacted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's kind of all I'm going to get on Arrow, is it?
I'd say in this particular section, yeah, because it is a public...
Okay.
Or public record.
While I'm here, and I'm looking through military files.
Yeah.
I gotta look up Cachet.
Okay. Alright. So. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check. Oh, well, how much you find.
Is he within 30 feet of me?
It's 19 plus... What was my investigation? Plus 4. 19 plus 4. 23.
I wouldn't say...
And can I see him?
I'd say you could see him. I don't know if he's... Roll me a luck check. Roll me a d20.
Okay. 15.
Go on there. Yeah, sure. You're within 30
Okay.
feet.
Flash of genius. Add a +5 to that.
28.
28.
28.
Sorry, Cachet.
Give us your secrets, Cachet.
Ooh, oh God. Okay.
Hold on. Let me just flip over to a new page in my notes for this.
Alright. God. Hang on, I need water. All right. So, let's see. You find the records very similar to Arrow. There is a lot redacted, so don't be thinking you're going to find everything. But, Cassé-chan Visage, you do find that you Drow race. I have no idea how tall she is. I'm going to guess 5'6"? No, 5'8", I'd say. Was born in Austral, which is a city in the Avasha Isles, but not Minera. It's closest to the mountains.
What was the name of it? Sorry.
Austral. I guess I named it. Sorry. Probably have never actually said that name out loud until now. There you go.
So she's from Australia, I hear you.
Popped into the chat there.
Yep, it works.
So many names. So you do find record that Cache's father was actually in the military before. And there is a deceased mark next to the father. Quite a bit is redacted during training, but you do see that Cache joined the military and then was put under was basically a lieutenant on an airship, which is also redacted, and you do not have the air colonel's name. And that seems a bit odd. That seems kind of like normal record to have, but that is all redacted. And you can get bits and pieces of this particular thing talking about something happened on that airship, had a big fallout effect, and probably 2 or 3 months later, you see records of Cache becoming air colonel. I'd say more is going to be redacted, and I'd say you'd probably come close to the end at this point, where you just have record of that Cache was the air colonel of the Sol de Polaire, which is an airship. However,
awesome.
That airship went down, and that is all the records you have.
Does it say how it went down?
That
like
is all
crashed,
redacted.
shut down?
All
Okay.
redacted. You have no way of looking at that.
Okay. That's satisfied my curiosity for now.
Oh, good. Okay. Hopefully, didn't. And Miguel's gonna kill me. Okay. Perfect. So I will leave you there for now. Gizmo, you are looking at. What are you looking for? In particular?
Nothing majorly particular. Like he's fascinated by just any advancements on mechanisms and gearing and the likes. There is like a slight focus in utilizing his infusion knowledge and trying to separate that over pieces of the armor rather than just as one piece. That's something he's kind of working towards.
Okay.
But if he's like got people around him, he'll kind of look around and. So I suppose you're you feel safe in the city, right?
So you're just asking just the random people around you?
Just out loud, yeah.
Okay. I'd say you see kind of an elderly dwarvish man kind of look up to you, just thick, wiry gray beard, bald on top. He's got a few piercings in his ears, and he's kind of looks up from the big book that he's currently reading. It looks like a really old volume. Kind of goes, "What you mean? Safe in the city?"
Just I've heard good things about is it the Peace Watchers?
The Peacekeepers, you mean?
That's the one, yeah.
Peace Watchers.
Very bad at this, low charisma.
Absolutely love it. Go ahead and roll me performance checks just to see how this is going.
Oh, okay. So it's a performance 80 minus 1, 17.
Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. So yeah, the dwarf kind of puts the book aside, and well, the peacekeepers are, at least from what I understand, they're retired military clock forges that were used, at least for the ground infantry. I'd say I feel pretty safe with them. You know, we haven't had any incidents, but I wouldn't want to be on the wrong end, if you know what I mean.
That makes sense. But I suppose, is there anywhere that I could go? This library even, does it have any more information about them, like how they were made, the ideas behind them, that kind of thing?
Oh, sure, yeah. So he kind of gets up from his stool, and he actually walks over, and you see him kind of climb up one of the stools, up taller than even you, and gets up to one of the areas. Like, obviously, he's in this section quite a lot, and he kind of looks for it, and he goes, "Oh yeah, here," and he kind of grabs a book and he hands it over to you. And you see that it is like, it just seems to be kind of a book that talks about clock forges, and he kind of hands it to you, and he goes, "Seems a bit redundant since you are one, but to each their own. Maybe you don't remember. It's not my place to judge. Enjoy reading it." And he hands it off.
Form of self-exploration.
Of course.
Do you look like you're a man of the town, as they'd say? Has there ever been any incidents involved where they had to get involved?
Plenty of incidences. The constables like to use them more as a tactic to make sure people stay in line.
Ever been a time where that tactic backfired, where they weren't as effective as they could have been or had been?
Not to my knowledge, but
that's reassuring.
Yeah, I mean, not that I can recall. At least not in the last 5 years when they were starting to be used. I'm sure the military has plenty of stories. They were only just sort of kind of figuring them out during the war.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the information.
Of course, of course. Anytime. Walks back over, grabs his book, flips it back open, continues to read.
I'll add that the Clock Forge book to the list of stuff that I'm reading through, and I'm just going to kind of keep a particular eye out for, like, if there's anything specific about the peacekeepers that make them different, and yeah, just kind of study up on their mechanisms.
Easily done. You do learn quite a lot. I'd say, do I have it actually? I thought I was trying to be ahead of the game, but no. I didn't have actually one on clock forges. So what I can do is, excuse me. Oh, something. I'm trying to kill myself with my own saliva, apparently.
That's the way to do it.
Sorry. I can pop this into a note for you, and you can have access to it later. Awesome. But basically, what you do find, I believe this is the same. Let me pull up my timeline. Nope, that's character timeline. Where's my city timeline? Literally was just looking at this today. Haha. Okay, so I will show you this one because I'd say this is a lot of what you're reading right now. Nope, not that one. Don't look at that one. It's this one. Why are you being annoying?
By the way, as well too, the Foundry screen is just a black square for me.
Oh, is it? Oh no. It's probably because I don't have one of the eyes.
Oh, there we go. I see the thing now.
Oh, why is it black and white?
All the lights go out. Not again.
There you go. Darkness everywhere. How's that? Is the picture there?
Yep.
Perfect. Sorry about that, guys. Let me see if I can get this to actually show. Alright, so if you guys head over to the notes, the journals on the top there menu, there should be research towards the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully the Magictek one is showing up.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So one thing you kind of learned, especially in the book about the clock forges, is that they were actually first invented in 513. So I think that's about 13 years ago, or 13 years before the war. So let me just calculate that really quick. So you're in the year 540. It's 27 years ago. The first clock forge was made. And it was just a teeny tiny little mindless like bot almost. Interestingly enough, as you're reading about them, kind of reminds you of Humphrey, actually. Just that kind of idea of a very small. They were dubbed scrappers, basically, very small little contraptions that could just help scholars and shopkeepers. Very minimal amount of work. And from there, they started to escalate as things went on. And people started really testing the limits of clock forges. The next kind of sections were the trooper and the brawlers, the troopers were built very humanoid. As you're reading about them, you notice that this is actually probably the most common version of the clock forge, is this more kind of humanoid version, very similar to Taurus, which you saw on the airship. The next stage from that is the brawler, which is supposedly supposed to be quite large. Not as large as a peacekeeper, but seemed to be one that was reinforced. It was a powerhouse. They're all kind of depicted with big shields for the war. And you do see quite a bit of decommissions being talked about with the brawlers, as they had a disruptive programming, quote unquote. There's nothing really else about that. Then you find Goliaths, they were called, the original Clockforge. These were golem-sized machines that ran with an Ethereum core in the center. Goliaths became instrumental in the end of the war, but also in the rebuilding of the city. They were basically the powerhouses behind it. They are now currently the peacekeepers. Interestingly enough, you notice that there is no record of a Goliath gaining sentience.
Intriguing.
As you're reading through this book, there seems to be one more. But all the information you find is just the name. Envoy. All other information has been removed.
Like, taken out, or that
Ripped
like it
out.
ripped out? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd say, in terms, if you're interested in learning more about the terms of the ideas, or what they are learning about the sentience is very, very new. Hit or miss with some people. Following the peace talks and the signing of the Treaty of Minera, MIDI Clockforge creations were reprogrammed after the war. No longer war machines. They became personal bodyguards, scholarly aides, construction workers, and so on. However, an unintended consequence of these Magictek experiments that they were trying to do, a very small percentage of Clockforges, mainly troopers and brawlers, developed sentience. They rejected the new programming and now fully function outside of the limitation of their maker. While very few in number, many have set out to find their place in the world following the war, while others have attempted to integrate into society the best they can. Many scholars and inventors see this development of the Clockforge actually as like a person, like a personality leap. Like, this is great, and they really enjoy talking with individuals that have gained sentience this way, because they see it as a way to grow and continue on with their own development of Magictek, while others are quite fearful because these are constructs that do not seem to have the same weaknesses as mortals. Basically, these individuals can live, we don't even know how long, and they're machines, you know. So there's a little bit of fear, but they're not Clockforges tend to be, you know, they're still in society. You see them around. A lot of them are still working as bodyguards. A lot of them are still in their new programming. But like, as you saw with Taurus, he has full sentience. So it's kind of what you're picking up on. Oh, and my last line I wrote here is, only time will tell what will become of the Clockforges and their growing understanding of the world.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
And I'd say, too, you do find other books talking about the infusion of magic. You also find other things that talk about the Ethereum cores, the Ethereum batteries, how they work. Not so much on how to make them, I will say that. But you do see how they work, how they've developed, how they've changed Minera, and what they're used for and things like that.
That's a good starting point. I'm going to say it to, though, one of the scribes. You know, there's pages torn from this book, folding out the.
Oh, and he kind of looks at. That's See, we can't have eyes everywhere, unfortunately. You kind of see a elvish woman with kind of what is it, the half moon spectacles on her face, and she just kind of looks sad, looking at the book. And you know what? Thank you for bringing this to me. I'll bring this back. We have a lovely little repair section down below in the vault, and see if we can do anything about this.
Should we be able? Do you think you'd be able to recover what was lost, the information that was there?
Let me see what it is about. Oh, seems to be about the developments of the Clockforges. I would have to definitely look to see if we have any other records even hidden in the vaults. A lot of times we have the very precious items actually in the vault, just, you know, to keep it safe. I can have a look, though. Might take me a little bit of time.
If I was to come back in a day or so, would that be enough time?
That would give me enough time to really have a good search for you.
I'd appreciate
It's
that.
the Enethær, and she kind of says the name and doesn't really recognize it. Envoy, I haven't heard that one. That's a bit odd. Okay, yeah, I'll have a look and see if there's any other records of it.
I appreciate that. I'll come back in a day or two.
All right.
Thank you kindly.
Very welcome. Kind of again looks at the book, kind of just looks sad at the just ripped pages, and kind of puts it together. You see, actually, kind of she has got a stack of a few others that just look ripped and torn, and kind of, you know, spines have been broken a bit, and she kind of is looking like she's collecting those so she can go and fix them. So. Okay, and with that, I think we might take a short break here, and we will be right back with you shortly. welcome back. As we fade back in, we'll move over to Al. Brings you to the first floor. Where are my notes? There we go. Brilliant. Nope, wrong note. 1 second. There's so much happening. Okay. Lovely. All right. So, you are brought to the section. I need you to make me an investigation check.
I will do. Investigation. Okay, that is 18. 10.
18, you said?
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay. The section that Mo has kind of brought you to, and he kind of settles himself at the table, and he's brought like plenty of paper, a blank parchment for you, and ink and quill and everything. So he's kind of set himself up to be helpful if you need, and kind of lets you loose into the books. And this section that he's brought you to does really dive into realm travel. A lot of journeying to places outside the material plane, things to do with fate and that kind of information. And as you're perusing through some of these books, you do find that there's quite a lot of records talking about time magic or chronology magic. But
Right.
Sorry?
Oh, sorry. I was just going to see if do any of them mention why it's kind of shunned or forbidden to study time magic?
That's kind of almost all they talk about. That's what's kind of
Okay.
weird. Is they're talking about that the chronology magic being the manipulation of the very fabric of reality itself, a weaver of time, pulling the threads of the very existence around them and changing one's fate. Mages who dedicate their lives to the understanding of this magic have the potential to become some of the most powerful beings on the material plane, and maybe even the cosmos. So due to that immense power, and control that these practitioners have access to, it really should be no surprise by all these scholars that it is very well guarded and not just given to anyone, because it is an immense amount of power to have. There actually seems to be something else that you find as you have a book that actually reads the history of time magic. And this is where you're kind of reading this section where it is talking about how time magic even came into the blueprints of reality into the material plane. And I'll bring that up for you so you can... I'll give it to you.
Oh,
Al.
how quickly can you scribe?
I was clocked at 85 words per minute.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
So I will... Let's see here. Hoping this works now. I'm just gonna give you all access to it because Foundry's being weird. It's weird. It worked just fine yesterday, but for some reason it's being kind of weird today. So did that show up for you guys?
A history of time magic, yes, lovely.
Okay, cool. All right. So it is believed, and some recorded, that during the Age of Skyfire, when the first astral dragons came to the material plane, there was a particular dragon known as Kronos, who brought his version of time manipulation into the world and taught mortals how to harness that power to travel through time and space. I didn't see the message. He just writes really fast.
Typewriters, magic fingers.
Absolute magic fingers. Let's see here. He was seen as the reason why mortals were able to journey through to the other planes, and other places of existence. He gifted mortals the understanding of time manipulation, but it was almost instantly abused obviously, due to its amount of wanting to manipulate one's fate, go back in time, change reality, all of those kinds of things. And when the Age of Skyfire really took off, when the dragons started turning on one another, and angering the primal spirits of the world, Kronos fled with 4 of his loyal students. They stayed with him until the end, despite the rebellion and the attempt to overthrow his power. Kronos was cut down and destroyed, but he blessed the 4 students to carry on his legacy, and they became, or so the history says, became immortal keepers of knowledge, the great sphinxes of time. Most of their names have been lost to history or memory. Perhaps this is the way to safeguard the magic, the time magic, and the study of all of this. But this means that true chronology magic in this particular plane is almost unknowable unless one can access a sphinx. That's kind of the info that you are getting from this particular book here. But there's something else, Al, that catches your eye. Scribbled in the footnotes of this book, you see written in a language I actually don't know if you understand. What languages do you speak?
I mean, I speak
Or read?
Celestial, Common, Elvish, and Primordial.
Interesting. So you see written in Primordial in the footnotes of this book. 2 bodies have I, though both joined in one. The more I stand still, the faster I run. What am I?
Wait, 2 bodies have I, both?
2 bodies have I, though both joined in one. The more I stand still, the faster I run. What am I? Chris gave me a nod there.
More stand still. Like, Seb is terrible at riddles, but
it's okay. You can always go ask your friends. You also have Mo. I'm just, you know.
1 sec.
What is it in that game where it's like a lifeline? Can't remember.
I don't know. I think maybe
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Yeah, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Get a phone call.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it to the floor. If anyone has any ideas.
Can we speak?
Go on. Of course.
Oh, okay.
That's my guess anyway.
Please have I don't know, body of water? No.
Yeah, but if you stand an hourglass, it starts running.
Yeah, but is that what they're called? Like the 2 bodies? So they're bulbs.
It's a riddle.
That's true.
It's not a manual. Like...
Imagine 2 bodies.
Oh god.
What's the body horror thing that Rick and Morty play off of?
I
can never remember the name.
Dave Cronenberg.
Cronenberg, yeah. So the answer to the riddle is a Cronenberg.
Yeah.
Done.
Horrific
Dusted.
flesh monster. Is it an hourglass?
It is.
Okay.
And it's odd. As you are hearing and sensing Gizmo, thinking of an hourglass, you remember seeing an hourglass today.
Yeah.
The one that's slowly moving.
Okay. Very good. I'll make a note of that. Well, in my head.
I just imagine Al getting a piece of paper out. No.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Remember. Do.
That'll do.
Okay. You mentioned that there were also books on fate.
In
I'd
relation to the time manipulation, yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to have a look at those.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it talks, a lot of it is this idea of, could someone change one's fate? A lot of it is hypotheses, a lot of it is experimentation that went terribly wrong. It's a lot more about like people trying, but due to this idea that beings of immense power might be safeguarding time magic, perhaps there's not quite enough information yet to fully change one's fate. There's many poems that you come across as well, people wanting to, change or alter what they've done in the past, be better people, things like that.
Cool. I think. Could I look for anything about the Sphinxes of Time? Or would it have generic Sphinxes?
Yeah. So in some of your kind of just research into these great Sphinxes of Time, they're called, it's odd. While you're looking through these books, you actually realize that there doesn't seem to be any mention of other types of sphinxes, particularly in this material plane. Now, Al, being from where you are, there's sphinxes in other realms, but not on this one. Seems to only be linked to these particular four, or that's what the mythology says. But as I did say, that it seems their names have been erased from these public books of history. And just a little side note, and I can cut this out of the recording. Does anybody remember potentially where one of those sphinxes might be?
Oh, the school. Yeah, of course. Nice.
Yep, Kala is there.
Hmm.
Sorry, Ricky, that is from one of the one-shots for the Academy of Unseen Arts. They came across a sphinx underneath the school. It's pretty cool. Anyway, tying in Saltmarsh. At least trying to, so.
Okay.
That riddle keeps playing in your head, though, over and over.
How long has it been? Like, how long have I been researching at this point? It's probably been a while.
I'd say between the three of you, probably hour and a half or so.
Okay.
Close to 2 hours.
Can I... I'm going to point a finger. Oh, actually, I'm going to turn to Mo and just be like, Mo, am I allowed to send a message to one of my friends in the library?
Of course. Yeah, we do it all the time.
Perfect. Lovely. I'll then kind of point in the direction of where I think Gizmo is, and perhaps Revenant, although I'll be honest, I'm not really sure where Revenant would be.
I'd say you would have probably kind of seen where Gizmo was
Okay.
brought to.
But Revenant is too stealthy. just in general.
And
I
read
feel
it.
like Revenant also isn't in the area that I left him in already. I think he's probably somewhere else.
Yeah. He's fucked up. Yeah.
I just have this feeling.
I'll send a message to Gizmo and just so I've done a bit of research. I'm quite happy to continue on wherever after this if you'd like. There's maybe one or two more things I might investigate, but well, in fact, yeah, maybe you two might be interested as well. But anyway, it's downstairs, I think, in the foyer. If you're finished.
So, do you want me to follow you or not?
I mean, it's at your convenience.
I think I'm pretty well done here. I'm not too sure exactly where Revenant is, but I can meet you down there.
Very good.
I found some interesting things as well.
Excellent. We can compare notes.
I'll head on down.
Okay.
All right. Come along, Humphrey. He's probably only just caught up to the table at this point.
Probably. He had a lot of stairs to try to manage. He got to the top of the stairs and you go down, he's just like, internal screaming.
Humphrey, I promise I'm going to make you faster. Soon.
You just get the sense, carry me?
I'm too weak. We've tried this before.
Can we give Humphrey a little parachute so when he gets to the top of the stairs, he can just parachute down?
I mean, I kind of want little, like, jet boots.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be something.
I'm actually imagining there's like this extension that comes out that's like a perfect shape for stairs. This like
Yeah.
walking cube.
Yeah,
sort of shape.
yeah.
He just, like, sits on it.
Yeah, like-
That's amazing.
I'll draw diagrams later.
Like a
We
stairmaster.
need to make this. Okay, so for expedience, because I do want to make sure we get to the next point here, you guys meet up in the foyer again. Al, where are you taking them?
Is Revenant finished his stuff as well?
Rev, what have you been doing for the last?
Hmm.
You've
Did
looked at the
we get
records.
anything on the Nightingales?
No. Absolutely none. Not in this section.
Nothing. Not even like rumors, newspaper articles.
There is. I would say it is what I will say. You don't find any record or talking of the Nightingales, but there is a suspicious amount of information that has been removed. So if you're looking through newspaper articles, potentially there's like missing pages, or there seems to be and that's actually something you would would notice. There doesn't seem to be a lot of records, at least again for the general kind of public here on the ground floor, that talks about any of the criminal underground,
Right.
which is a bit odd. Because most big cities, you kind of assume to have some kind of thieves guild or something, but that seems to be removed.
Okay. Then, yeah, that's all I wanted.
Perfect. Okay. So, you then all meet up back in the foyer, kind of right outside the statue of Neela.
Oh, well, I think that was a very productive learning experience for me anyway. I hope everyone else had fun.
I found out a few things.
Yes, I learned what I needed.
Serious as always. Perfect. Well,
Sorry,
I...
one last thing. Rev,
Oh,
I
yeah.
just saw your message there. I'm so sorry. General is the
It was
answer.
general. Okay.
Yeah,
Grand,
yeah.
Perfect.
Cachet's father was a general, I think. He is now. Yeah, he's a general. Yeah, so sorry. I thought I read it somewhere, but I'm like quickly scanning Cachet's background. Yeah, general.
Grand, perfect.
So, yes. Well, I came across a riddle in a book, and
Oh, I love riddles.
it seems... Yes, yeah, I'll be honest, I had a bit of trouble figuring it out. You know, But I'll tell you the riddle if you'd like, and I'll tell Gizmo the riddle so that he has the joy of figuring it out for himself, which Chris already has.
Just instantly
yes,
an hourglass.
Yeah. You'd think someone who is interested in time would get that quickly, but I guess I was too wrapped up in what I was reading. So yes, anyway, I was saying, yes. It seems like maybe the hourglass statue in the library might reveal something of interest to me and possibly to everyone. I'm not sure.
Inside in it? You want us to break it open?
I wouldn't dream of doing that, to be honest. Now that would be a bit extreme, considering it is a relic of some long dead academic.
I was going to say, it's a bit much. It's only a library.
Yes. But, well, I think it might contain a bit something. Information maybe scried on the side, or...
Well, we can examine it more, but I don't think there's anything I can do that hasn't been done already. Detect some magic infused into it.
No, that's true. Well, I'm going to go and have a look at it now anyway, I suppose, if anyone is interested in coming to have a look.
Sure, if you think it's worth looking at.
You head over to the hourglass that again is just slowly, as soon as it gets down to the end, it just slowly turns itself back over again, just oscillating on its own. Very slowly, but you do approach the kind of pillar that it's attached to. And go ahead and make investigation checks.
Can I also cast Detect Magic?
You can indeed.
18 again.
18, okay.
Investigation. 22.
22, okay. Ooh, 22, alright. Let's see here. You, Gizmo, with Detect Magic, do see something. Illusionary script. Written on the side of the kind of platform that is containing the hourglass. So it's the hourglass is what's moving, and then this kind of platform is what's kind of holding it in place.
Okay,
and you see...
I'll signal over to Al to come over.
The only thing is, Gizmo, as you look at this, you can't understand it.
There's some script written here. You can't see it without having some way of seeing magic. It's written using an illusion, but I can't read it. I don't know what it says.
Let me see.
It's aimed right there, just where the base meets the pedestal.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to see that today.
Gizmo, why don't you just write down what you see and let Al read it?
That would work.
That's a way of doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, let me see. Do I even have like...
Give him a scrap of paper and some...
Actually, I'll reach in just back for like a bunch of like cogs, and I'll kind of like move my hand over for a second, and I'll use my magical tinkering to create a little mechanism that displays a static visual, so it'll be just the text.
Freaking brilliant.
Perfect.
Absolutely. So clever thinking. Well done. I give you inspiration, but you already have it.
I need to use that at some point.
It's okay. Okay, we'll get there. I think I have something coming up. Anyway, so yeah, you pull out the magical tinkering and you spend just a few moments here, and it makes you kind of, the three of you are making it look like you're just looking at the cool statue. Oh, this is very cool. While Gizmo's like working on this, and yeah, Al, you are given this little contraption. You are able to see the words, and oddly enough, you can read them just fine. For some reason.
What language?
It's in common, and that's what's weird. And you kind of clicks with you going, right, illusionary script can only be read by certain... There's only a certain reason why someone could read an illusionary script. Someone who put that there, put an intention of who could read it.
Ah. Okay.
So, you are able to read it. And you see, always old, something new. Never sad, sometimes blue. Never empty, sometimes full. Never pushes, always pulls. What am I?
Say that again?
Always old, something. You know what?
Always.
I'm going to
Yes.
put it in. I know it's no. I know it's easier sometimes to read.
It's on the very
over
first
and over
word.
again.
Always.
Yeah. Always. Okay. Grant.
Always old, sometimes new, never sad, sometimes blue, never empty, sometimes full, never pushes, always pulls.
Also, yes, a lot of my script is in different colors so that I can see it quickly.
The moon.
Blue moon, empty, full moon, always pulls. Very good.
Very good, Red.
Gizmo loves
Very
riddles.
good, Gizmo. Yeah, you're great on the riddles. I love it. Very good. Yeah. So the answer is the moon. And all of you, because you took that tour, do remember that you did see a contraption that had the 4 moons depicted
Yes, indeed.
around the material plane.
The cosmic wheel.
This is like a fucking Easter egg hunt. This is great.
Right?
I like libraries. So, where are you headed?
Home. I'm finished.
We're
I'm
done now.
done.
I'd like to go to that alchemist I was mentioning earlier.
Yep. Going to get a drink. I'm terrible at solving riddles and I'm upset. No.
You just get a sense from Humphrey. It's okay. You're good at other things.
Thank you, Humphrey. It's very kind of you to say. Anyway, onwards to the cosmic wheel.
Brilliant. Not even a 5-minute walk it takes to basically cross over to the other side of the library where this gyrosphere is currently moving. And this one's moving a lot slower than the hourglass. But you do approach. Detect magic is still up. And as you're I'm assuming you're kind of looking, go ahead and roll me an investigation check, Gizmo, since you're approaching it.
Oh, can I use my little device? Oh no, because I did that. No, that doesn't work that way. No, never mind. Can I use my
No.
flash of genius to add a 5?
You can indeed.
Okay, so I can actually do that to myself. Turns out. So
I'm going to
investigation.
genius myself.
I inspire myself with my own cleverness. That's
It's like a self-fulfilling loop.
Yeah.
Of genius.
17.
17. Okay. So as you approach the cosmic wheel and you're looking at it, it's odd. You don't actually see any illusionary script this time. Seems to really just be drawing you to this contraption. And again, the 3 of you, as you're looking at it, and you do remember the tour guide as well talking about the fact that it has never stopped moving. And you do see the moons slowly making their turn around the material plane. 2 of them are actually in the Silura ring around the planet. They are going through the ring itself, and then the other 2 are actually going around in different cycles. If you want the days, I can tell you, but it's up to you.
I don't see any illusion like I did in the last sculpture. But they did say something about the fact that it never stops. I wonder how hard they tried.
Did, yes. I mean, unless its movement is somehow connected to barrier magic that keeps anyone from achieving any sort of meaningful time manipulation, or...
Can I see the layer of the plains? Can I see the Feywild?
You can indeed, yeah. It is. You can see what you recognize as both the Shadowfell and the Feywild. They are sphere, almost that glass lenses that are actually, you can see it as it moves. It actually overlaps with the material plane at certain points as it's moving around. But those two are the closest. And then you see a purple lens and a an odd, constantly shifting of shadow, almost gray plane below. There's 4 planes directly next to the material plane.
And from my own knowledge of just even how they would be connected, like the material plane, if it would, does it look like anything is out of sync or not quite where it should be in terms of cosmological positioning or along those lines?
Ooh. Of just the Feywild and the...
Well, basing it off of that to try and work outwards, because that's probably what I'd be most familiar with.
Okay.
Trying to work outwards.
Yeah. So working your way outwards, the planes that are directly around the material plane seem to be in the right areas. Again, they are constantly moved. This whole thing is constantly shifting around, and you can see where it overlaps, meaning where the Feywild and the Shadowfell come close to the material plane and then go back out. So it's all moving around. I'd say as the planes get further away, nothing looks too out of place. Not from your knowledge. Now, I will say, you don't know, you're not as familiar with the moons of this planet, but you do notice that they're the smaller one, the red, it's not even red, it's more of a darker shade to the big Luna, the big white one. Again, they seem to be moving the way they're supposed to, so nothing quite looks out of place in that. But again, it's hard to even really get a sense of it because everything is moving.
It's constantly shifting,
Constantly shifting, yeah. So you actually oh, there's the moon. Wait, where'd it go? Yeah. So it's just constantly moving around. If only there was a way to pause it for even just a moment so you could actually really take in all of these different planes.
Yeah.
Can
I see. Okay, but first, can I ritual cast Identify on it?
Yeah, if you want, yeah. On the machine.
On the machine, yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Just set up down close to where it's maybe set into the floor.
Okay. You do so. 10 minutes or so goes by, and Identify just identifies magical things of it, right?
It any object imbued with magic learn its properties, how to use them. So it's it is more for I think magical items, usable magical items. But if I could possibly try and learn maybe what its source of power or motion is.
Okay. So 10 minutes go by, and you cast this, and you really connect yourself with the sphere itself. And oddly enough, Lexicon was actually close to how it is pulling on the magnetic fields that are connected to the material plane. There is actually no full magic arcane connection to this contraption. It seems to be pulling off of what he referred to as the aura veins. That's called in this realm.
Interesting.
So they're almost like magnets in a way.
And they're based in the material plane. They're not extra planar sort of pulling forces.
Not so much, no.
No. Okay. All right. Well, I suppose. Given that it's shifting around and not stopping, I can. Could I attempt to use my momentary stasis on it? It's for creatures, though. This is an object, not a creature.
Bend the rules a little bit. You can, yeah. if you're going to attempt that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I'll, yeah,
perfect.
somewhat.
After
Overzealously. Forgetting where I am.
300 years,
Yeah.
this
Bad move.
contraption stops.
Revenant immediately hides. Immediately. Just away from the lad. Moves away from the two of them and just ducks behind the table or something. It's like,
I think Gizmo has a moment of like, that's amazing. Oh.
Yeah, I think Al is just gonna like, what have I done?
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'll observe it. What's it doing?
So,
Have
it
I
stops.
broken it?
And interestingly enough, it just stops. Everything continues like normal. You gotta take a moment to breathe. And you look over at Gizmo. Gizmo, what would be your expression watching this happen?
I mean, robot.
Oh, so yeah, sorry. I'm forgetting. So yeah,
Robot.
so it's odd. You look over at Gizmo and you're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, because nothing's changed or anything like that. But you look over at other people that are walking around and they have all frozen in place.
Shit. Remember,
So-
the Sigic order gonna come out.
Fortunately, Gizmo wasn't a good to help you see that. But everything seems to stop around you. You can move, but everything just goes quiet and silent. And all you hear is just a little shh sound.
Who's with me? Who's this? Who's that? Hello?
You glance down, and like a little compartment opens right underneath this sphere.
It was mechanical. Wait, the compartment is opened, but everything else is stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Is it attached to the sphere?
Nope, it's like below it.
Separate.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Small one, not big enough for anybody to fit inside or anything. It's
Well, Humphrey, have a look in the compartment.
okay. You see a book.
Oh, is Humphrey unaffected by the time stop?
Humphrey is also frozen.
He is. Oh, so he can't look in for me.
Nope.
Okay, shit.
Oh,
Humphrey.
sorry. Did you say
Humphrey.
Humphrey?
Yes.
I didn't hear Humphrey.
No,
I
sorry.
thought you said you had to look in. No.
No.
So Humphrey is frozen as well.
Okay, right. Hey, well, I'll have a look myself then. Just kind of peer in, but not, like, get too close.
Okay. You do see, as I said, a book. Titled on the front, Timeweaver's Codex by Archmage Utrix.
Interesting. Timeweaver's Codex by Archmage Utrix. I look around. Everyone's still.
Yep.
Mm. Oh, this could be bad. Is it identify still takes a minute to cast, even not.
How long
ritual.
is it last?
Well, it's only on one object. Like I don't think it
Oh.
carries over to like separate. It's not like detect magic.
Okay.
Okay, I will cast. Just kind of like turn my hand and like open my sleeve into a small void and pick up the book and just kind of stick it into a wrist pocket.
Stick it on in the... Oh, the wrist pocket spell! I love that spell
Mhm.
so much. Brilliant. Yeah, you do so. And it is as soon as you kind of grab it and put it into the wrist pocket, everything kind of whoop and picks back up again. The sphere is continuing to move. Gizmo, it's odd. You watch this thing stop, and then everything just kind of, you almost kind of feel a lurch in your stomach, And you see Al just climbing out from underneath the sphere,
Oh,
looking normal.
looks like it's.
I
moving.
kind of
Where-
kick the thing closed as well, my foot as surreptitiously as possible, so that it doesn't look like
It's
Where,
yeah.
Where are you?
It's almost
coming
as
from?
if when you grab it, it kind of and just closes itself again. It's
Okay.
unseeable.
Why are you there now? What's going on? What? You were just.
I jumped. I'll be perfectly honest. I did my stasis on it. It stopped. It scared the shit out of me, so I kind of jumped away.
Oh, I didn't see you move.
No, you know I can jump around. Pop in and out of places.
Huh. Didn't know you teleport when you were shocked.
Just to get away from potentially incriminating things that I've done.
Yeah, it looks like you didn't do anything lasting anyway.
I hope not.
Seems to be moving again.
Hmm.
Maybe don't do that again without warning, though.
No.
You got lucky this time. Nothing happened.
No, and I wasn't able to glean anything from it stopping either. So.
Insight check.
Yeah, I was just about to say I've actually got a passive insight of 19. Can I tell he's lying?
You do. No, I need a deception check there for me, Al.
Okay, you ready for this? It's gonna be shit.
Well, it's a 12 for me, so you already know why.
I have 17 written. Rev, has it changed?
My passive insight? It's always been 19.
It's not that I don't believe you. I just can't believe.
It
I've
doesn't
never
I can't read
matter.
my own
touched it.
handwriting.
It's
Nope.
Ruby like a book.
I
What's
just
your
can't read
roll?
my own handwriting. That's just me.
I rolled a 2 plus 2 is
Ooh.
4.
Ooh, all right. Very much something else happened. That was odd. That was an odd feeling. You haven't really had a lot of experience with his time manipulation. You've seen a little bit of it, but that felt really odd. And he is... he's like really trying to sell that I didn't find anything. Oh well, this has been a waste of time. Like really playing it up. So
Alright, well, I think we've all got what we want from here, right?
Well,
answers way too quickly.
hopefully. Anyway, should we go? I'm getting quite hungry.
Sure, I do need to stop off towards the apothecary. But we can stop in somewhere on the way or on the way back.
Yeah.
So
Wherever,
I don't know
really.
what Cache and
I'm,
Fenris are doing today.
I'm not sure, honestly. I think I came back to the house and they both left.
Wonder what they could be doing. Should we go?
I think so.
Perfect. So you head out of the library and make your way towards Midtown. If I remember correctly, you were told that the House of Elixir was
I believe it's Midtown.
Midtown.
Midtown, yeah. House of Elixir.
If I could, before an hour passes, find somewhere to kind of like, sit down and kind of rearrange my stuff and myself and like kind of open my satchel and just like open my wrist pocket at the same time and just like slide the book into the satchel.
Okay. I'd say if you guys are headed to Midtown, are you walking there or are you attempting the trolleys again? It's up to you.
Rebel walk, for definite.
I mean, I was gonna suggest a trolley. Weak legs and all that.
I don't think I'll fit in the trolley.
No,
You did
I
last
don't
time.
Oh, did?
trust them.
I'll fit okay.
You don't trust the trolleys?
Just hear the voice. No, you're okay.
No.
But I mean, they seem, reasonably safe. As safe as the
Yeah.
airship we were on.
I did not want to be on an airship either.
Ah. Well, what about I heard there was some other, like, I don't know,
There are-
transport system.
there
Maybe
are
a bit
indeed.
more to your liking.
Yes, possibly something that stays on the ground.
Oh, the trolleys are on the ground. They're the light rails.
Oh, they're not the like ski
They're
lift
not the-
things that we were on
They're
beforehand.
not, no. They don't fly or anything. They're
like
actually
trams.
like, yeah, they're like trams. Like,
Oh, if it's just a
trains.
tram, then yeah, no. Rev
Okay.
wouldn't have any issues with a tram. No.
Oh,
Okay.
perfect. Okay, yeah. So it's just yeah, basically you're just going on like a little train.
We take a
a
brief moment to
very
explain what
rude-
a tram is, and then we go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, we're not going back on the skyship or the
No.
air rail. No.
No. You're headed to basically it's like the little trolleys you went on before from Neela Heart Station. So you grab on one of those. They are a silver each to use. You hop on the iron rail again, or iron line, and you head into Midtown. The cool things you notice about Midtown that you didn't get to see before is that it's the island that's set between these two sections of Minera, and it is dressed in luxury. It is high buildings, numerous shop fronts. It looks like perfect place to shop. You see high fashion kind of sides of things. You recognize actually a bit of foreign fashion as well, because it is the main hub, the main harbor, both for the sky and for other ways of getting into the city. This is definitely feels a little bit like a tourist kind of front, first view of the city. But as you head in, yes, yeah. As you head in, and you're kind of looking around, checking out for trying to find the House of Elixir, something more happens as you get off the trolley. All of you kind of step off, and you notice that there's quite a rush of people moving through the streets. You actually kind of get swept up a little bit in it. And
We're stuck in the we're stuck in the middle of a massive crowd of people pushing and rubbing against each other.
No, well, whoa! I wasn't gonna go that far.
Not in that sense, but like, there's not a lot of space to move, and people are bumping into each other as they're walking, and
There seems to be quite a commotion happening in this part of the city. Yes, right now. And you do
okay,
see
well,
a large group of constables, seeming to kind of form around what the easiest way I can describe it is a protest in the center of this place,
Okay.
and it seems to be a large town hall that's kind of set, and these people are crowded around it. And you actually notice as you are kind of moving through this, some of the shops are actually closed. You can see the owners kind of closing the fronts and locking the doors as this rush of people kind of come forward towards this town hall. And you all get kind of swept up in it too, because it's not a lot of places going to maneuver around. You can stick together.
Cool.
But as you do, I would say, Al, you would definitely recognize, because Al, you talked to her before. You recognize Inspector Vinny, actually. The kind of robust woman with short blonde hair is the one who interrogated you all. She does not seem to notice you. She is currently at kind of the front of the town hall, kind of trying to calm people down and try to she's speaking, very loudly over the crowd, but you can barely even hear her voice.
Really wave at her, but like, fruitlessly. Just kind of like,
fruitlessly.
She's very busy. It's okay.
Yeah, she is focused. You can see two very large peacekeepers are on either side of her, and you can kind of hear people in the crowd start to be like, "We want answers, Inspector. What are we supposed to do with terrorists running rampant?" And you can see a few others are like, "We want to see the speaker. Give us the speaker." And it's starting to get more rowdy and more kind of aggressive. You can see the constables. None of them, they're armed, but none of them are pointing any guns. But they are currently holding their rifles, like kind of just a show of force, basically. You can see the inspector kind of being like, now, listen. I understand you all want some answers, but it isn't going to go the way you want it to right now. The speaker isn't here. And you can kind of hear, nonsense, we saw her go in! And it just people are getting more and more rowdy, and you can hear, Avasha Isles will strike us again! What are you gonna do? And people are seeming obviously very upset, and you hearing the term like Avasha Isles, potentially more information came out, you're not quite sure. But things are getting a bit more heated. So, what are the three of you doing?
Picking pockets.
What?
Picking pockets.
Very
Okay.
I'm stealing shit.
All right. I'll come back to you then in a second. You two?
Seems like quite a bit of a civil unrest.
I'm not really sure what they're shouting about, but I'll try and keep out of those affairs.
I mean, I heard something about the Avasha Isles. It seems like there's been something else, or maybe word of what happened got out. I'm not sure.
Do you think it's word of that or something new?
Seems like.
Wow. What's your passive perception? 17. Okay. Interesting. Now, you notice something interesting going on. Rev, go ahead and roll me the sleight of hand check as well while this is happening.
Natural 20.
Oh,
Yes.
Fantastic.
That's a 31.
Roll me a d6.
A 2.
2. Perfect. Lovely. I will tell you what you get in a moment. Al, you see something odd in this crowd. I'm assuming you and Gizmo are kind of staying a little bit towards the back. You haven't really pushed your way forward or anything. Even though you're waving at Inspector Vinny and she is not paying you no mind.
No.
She's got a lot of angry people she's dealing with.
Do not want to get crushed.
Yes, I understand that. So so far, people are just shouting. There's nothing too aggressive or anything yet. People are upset and they're wanting answers. But you notice something odd in the crowd. At first, you think, why is your attention drawn to this individual at all? But you glance around and you see what appears to be a human. Heavy overcoat that hangs slightly open, gear plate gauntlets, a frayed tricorn hat. You see this individual and it takes you a moment, but with your passive perception, you can't quite make out facial features. And you watch as he's gently twisting his hands, expanding his fingers out, in a way you recognize as somatic motions. But you don't recognize exactly what he's doing. Almost like, have you ever seen the cat's cradle? Kind of like things going on. He's twisting and weaving things between his fingers. The crowd around him begins to escalate, it feels. People are starting to shove their way forward. They're pushing against the barricades.
How far away is he?
I'd say he's about 60 feet.
Do I recognize this as being is he kind of putting everyone under the miasma, kind of trying to...
Go ahead and make me just a straight intelligence check.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Intelligence. Good, yes. 19.
19, okay. While you don't recognize the somatic components exactly, what he is doing, there is definitely seems to be correlation. It's an easy thing to point together or put together, that this, whatever he is doing, is seeming to escalate things in the immediate surrounding people around him. You do start to see some people start to throw items.
I'm gonna cast Counterspell.
Okay. You cast Counterspell, and the face turns towards you. You see him drop his fingers.
Hello there.
Al, what are you doing?
I may have just gotten involved in something I probably shouldn't have. There's an individual over there, seemed to have been casting a spell, making the crowd a bit rowdy. I foiled him, it would seem. Not very happy. He's staring at me, making me quite uncomfortable.
Go ahead and make a perception check there, Gizmo.
No. 6.
There's a lot of people around. Also, where's
Not
Revenant?
I don't see who you're looking
Gizmo,
at.
can you get eyes on Vinny?
Yeah, I see her.
Okay, good. Just in case. We know where to run to.
Individual look at you, Al. And you watch him just go,
Can I cast message on him?
Can indeed.
Sorry. What exactly were you doing? Just curious.
Oh yes, Al. Curiosity was always your downfall, wasn't it?
I'm not sure I follow, to be honest. I've fallen down a lot.
Well, as long as you won't tell anyone. He slowly begins to move through the crowd without kind of turning away from you. And at this point, Revenant, I'd say with the 2 people that you pickpocketed, I can send you on what you get. But
Yep.
as you do, as you are getting closer, I'd even say you kind of moved through the crowd a little bit and you are getting some items. You get this terrible chill down your spine. Feeling of deja vu, familiarity.
Yep.
And with your own passive perception, your own kind of work through this crowd, I'd say you check back to see Al staring. Following his gaze, you see an individual you recognize.
I wave.
He is fully looking at Al. Well, if that's all you have to say to me, if there's no more questions, I'll just go, he says to you, Al.
I mean, I'm sure I've got plenty more questions, but it looks like you've got places to be going, and quite frankly, you frighten me.
But maybe all the answers you're looking for are with me. You ever thought about that?
That does seem a bit presumptuous.
But you are pretty presumptuous, aren't you, Al?
I was talking about you, but I suppose I am, yes?
Well, very good. Revenant. And he just moves to you, and you hear his voice in your head, Revenant. Don't be a stranger. And just sways away into the crowd, seemingly to move out and away from the rest of the people. And interestingly enough, while you counterspelled Al, people are still throwing things. They are under whatever connection to him, and it is getting fierce now. You can see the actually, I would say, Gizmo, you recognize the sound of peacekeepers powering up. You can see things are escalating quickly. So, it's getting very tense. What are the 3 of you doing? Are you staying here?
I recognize that noise. That's probably the peacekeepers. We shouldn't stay here.
Nope, I think you're right. I think we need to get out of here and let the authorities deal with this one.
Before we leave, Revenant's gonna listen into the crowd, pick out a random voice, and then use his mimicry ability and start shouting as loud as he can. The speaker has exited to the other side of the square. And start pointing in an opposite direction to try and draw attention away from where everyone's looking.
Okay.
Do it in an opposite direction.
See them do that. I go to quickly again reach to the side, pull out another contraption, move my hand around really quickly, and I'm going to make a little recording device. Hold it out in front of you.
Ooh.
Say it again.
Sure. The speaker's been seen leaving the other side of the square.
Perfect. Now I'm going to set that to replay and just basically toss that off to the
Plug
side.
it into the...
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so
that'll just basically play like a repeated message.
Lovely. Okay, so a few rolls there. People start kind of looking in all the directions, and the crowd seems to kind of split a bit and start making its way, not fully, but there's still people in the center as well, but it is now just chaos. People are just kind of moving everywhere at this point. You can see Inspector Vinny, no, stay, and it's just getting more and more heated. So you guys are, if you kind of stay towards the back, you're not surrounded as much anymore. Because people are starting to kind of move around the town hall, move into other areas, and kind of move away. So
I think we should go. Is the shop far from here? Should we maybe go somewhere else? I'm not sure.
I'm not really sure. I know roughly where it is, but I don't know exactly how far it is. Should we be out looking for it now, though? Maybe everything that's going on, maybe we should make our way back. It's not
We just
vital.
hop on a trolley home.
It's up to you two. Everything that's going on, I'd understand if you don't want to have to stay out in the streets at the moment.
So have you any suggestions?
Who, me?
Revenant?
Oh, it seems like a perfect time to move throughout the city without really being noticed.
That's a valid
That's
point as well.
If
Possibility, yes.
You know more about moving through the city than I do, so yeah, if you think that we won't be looked at as much, then let's go. I think we can handle ourselves anyway.
Most of the peacekeepers' attention is going to be drawn around the town hall and the square. So if there is any activities you wish to partake in or places you wish to visit, now is probably an ideal time.
I still want to visit that apothecary and alchemist. I did find a little bit out about the peacekeepers like you asked, but something tells me we'd be best off discussing that once we're out of many earshots.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's this way. We're going to start walking.
Yep.
Okay.
Just follow.
begin to follow, continue on. Kind of the main street, the main square area is quite full of people, so you kind of take some of the side streets, side routes, just to kind of keep off the main areas. And you're right, Revenant, a lot of the attention from the peacekeepers as well as the constables and the inspectors, they're really trying to keep this crowd under wraps. And you do hear a lot more shouting. You hear actually glass breaking as people are throwing bricks at the building itself. So it's a rowdy crowd. And just avoided that encounter. So yeah, cool. So yeah, you guys continue on up kind of side streets and making your way towards where the House of Elixir is. And as you do, you turn a corner, and Al, you see that individual once more.
You
Waiting
again.
for you.
God damn.
Who's this?
This is the person who I told you about, who was looking at me, who was doing the thing with his spell, and, yep. Very scary individual.
Oh, hi
Elegant,
there.
aren't we? Hello, Gizmo.
Say again. You said something, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, I was just saying hello to Gizmo.
How...
Oh, right, okay. Sorry, I thought there was something before that, but never mind.
Had you introduced us before?
I have no idea who this person is, but they know my name.
Oh.
You see him kind of put his hand up against his chest and look over to you, Revenant. I'm actually hurt that you haven't introduced me or even talked about me, Revenant.
Wait, you know him?
I saw no reason. It just never came up. It didn't seem relevant.
It's pretty relevant now.
Yes. Well, you see, your friend and I, and he's looking to you and to Gizmo now, we became reacquainted back outside the Wayward Bliss, didn't we?
Yes.
We go way
Yes,
back, don't
we did.
Revenant?
Yes, we've known each other for a long, long time.
Yes. How's your brother?
Yes, I haven't spoken to him in quite a while.
Oh. You don't remember, do you? Interesting. Well, more for me to know, I guess. I do find you a curious bunch, but I do think you're missing 2 of your party, aren't you? If my math is correct.
I mean,
Well,
you can
they're-
really have a
they're
party with
close
any
by.
number of people, but sure.
They're close by.
Are they? Are they? Deception check there, Gizmo.
I nearly just said no.
No!
6. No, they're not actually.
You say, they're close by, and then, no, they're not.
Sorry, I'm really bad at
Well,
lying.
At least you're honest. That's good. But, I'd really like to get more acquainted.
What is it you want,
Well,
Avarice?
what do we
What's his
want?
name?
Avarice.
Avarice.
So you heard Revenant call him Avarice.
Yes.
His name's Avarice. As in greed.
Oh, you're a smart one, aren't you?
Hmm.
Strange name.
My desire has not changed since the first time we talked there, Revenant. Or have they not learned about Forge yet? My mistake. But I would like to see your exquisite abilities. Talents, I'm sure. You can understand. I'd like to see what I'm working with.
Working with? I'm sorry, I'm not sure I follow.
I love how you all are like, no, I don't think so.
I think you have the wrong guy.
Hmm. I'm quite adept at thieving and sneaking, but everything else will have to wait.
Indeed. Well, why don't you talk it amongst yourselves for right now? And I need you all to roll me a wisdom save.
Oh.
Hmm.
7.
Okay.
Mm. Well,
I'm
Okay.
gonna flash of
Wait,
genius.
I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Yeah,
I'm
you can
gonna
use
use
your
my-
inspirations.
Oh yeah, I'll use
Yeah,
my
I'm gonna use my
inspiration.
inspiration.
I might not use that then. Hold on. It's
Okay,
worse.
it still only gives me a 13.
Oh
I got one better, 13.
no! Oh god.
Shit.
Okay.
I-
You got
okay.
13. What did
I
you
got a
get?
13.
You got a 13 as well?
I'm going to flash of genius to add +5 to Al. To give him an 18.
To Al.
Yeah. 'cause
Okay.
I'm going to fail anyway.
All right. So Al, you pop yours up to an 18. What Gizmo? What's yours?
Wisdom save 3.
3. Absolutely brilliant.
I'm going to use my chronal shift
Okay.
on Al so that he can make a saving throw. Again.
Okay. Okay. It actually. So you're negating the flash of genius.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
I use the flash
No,
of genius
because
on
Al.
Al.
Oh, no, on Gizmo. Gizmo can now roll again.
Oh,
I can-
sorry.
I
Yeah.
can roll again.
You can
Yes.
roll again now.
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
18.
18.
Nice.
All right. So an 18, an 18, and a 13. Lovely.
Mhm.
So, as he says this, there's no movement to him. There's no change, except just that playful, really unsettling nature that he possesses. But all of you feel a gut-wrenching sense of greed take hold in your stomachs. And in that moment of figuring out kind of what happened, what's going on, Al, You watch as Gizmo and Revenant both slowly turn their heads towards you. You can't see it in Gizmo's because he's Clockforge. You can't see it in Revenant either because he has a mask, so you can't see anything of their expressions. It's just two blank faces looking at you. But Al, you feel a tremendous sense of wanting to keep what is yours. You have the most gold. They have no right to it. You have the most wealth. Why would they want it? Gizmo, you feel this ache in you. Al has what you want. He has the answers that you seek. He has the gold that you need to buy everything you can possibly want. And you will do anything to get it. Revenant, you feel the same. Al seems to have the most on him. He is dripping in jewels that you could just steal from him and make a pretty penny. But you know what? Gizmo is in your way, and he is going to try to take it from you.
So basically, your man hasn't affected me at all.
Yeah, no.
Fine.
With all your shit.
Okay, it's Tuesday.
So, you are all currently under this effect, and we are going to end there tonight. With you all rolling initiative.
What? No.
Do we roll now or
No.
when we come back?
Go ahead, roll now. We'll have that ready then.
Roll better this time,
Jesus
please.
H. Christ.
I rolled a natural 1.
Oh,
Brilliant. This is going great.
shit.
Mhm.
11.
My pattern of rolling low on initiative has remained, and that's a 5.
So 5 total.
Yes!
Al, what'd you get?
11.
11. Okay, Revenant, what was your total?
There's a natural 1.
Yeah, but what's your initiative though?
Oh, 6 in total.
6 in total. Perfect. Okay. Lovely. So, with that, we will pick up the next session with the 3 of you heading into initiative, incited with greed.
Mm-hmm.
Intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be fun.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we will see you in the next episode.